Is there evidence giants once lived on Earth? There are many ancient cultures which tell in their traditions and legends that there was a time when giants walked on Earth. They are spoken of both in the Bible and in the Mahabharata. The same can be found in the sacred Thai texts of Ceylon, in Greek mythology, as well as in the Aztec, Egyptian, Irish or Basque traditions. The legacy of this race was supposedly reflected in the megaliths, in the colossal mounds of the northeast of the United States and in cyclopean constructions such as the ruins of Baalbek, Lebanon, those of Tiahuanaco, Bolivia, or Sacsayhuaman, Peru. Some authors argue that in the distant past when giants walked on Earth, they helped build massive monuments using stones weighing more than 100 tons. But is that just part of folklore or myth? Or is there actual evidence that giants once roamed the Earth? More than half a decade ago, researchers came across thousands of ancient scrolls at the Qumran caves. Among the scrolls, they found the Book of Giants which speaks of the Nephilim and their destruction. The Book of Giants, which by the way is incomplete, offers a different perspective about the Nephilim. According to the ancient text, the giants the Nephilim became aware that due to their violent ways, they face an imminent destruction. They asked Enoch to speak on their behalf to God. The Imam had dwelt there in times past, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim. They were also regarded as giants, Hebrew Rephaim, like the Anakim, but the Moabites called them Imam, Deuteronomy 2:10-11. The land of Ammon was also regarded as a land of giants, Hebrew Rephaim, giants, Rephaim, formerly dwelt there. But the Ammonites called them Zamzumim, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim. But the Lord destroyed them before them, and they dispossessed them and dwelt in their place, Deuteronomy 2:20-21. For only Og king of Bashan remained of the remnant of the giants, Rephaim. Indeed his bedstead was an iron bedstead. Is it not in rather of the people of Ammon? 9 cubits is its length and 4 cubits its width, according to the standard cubit, Deuteronomy 3:11. They were giants, Nephilim, on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown, Genesis 6-4. 9. Sensational claims require sensational evidence. In the words of Vindy Lauria, a Native American author, and professor of law. Modern-day archaeology and anthropology have nearly sealed the door on our imaginations, broadly interpreting the North American past as devoid of anything unusual in the way of great cultures characterized by a people of unusual demeanor. The great interloper of ancient burial grounds, the 19th century Smithsonian Institution, created a one-way portal, through which uncounted bones have been spirited. This store and the contents of its vault are virtually sealed off to anyone but government officials. These bones may lay answers not even sought by these officials concerning the deep past. An article published in the 4th of May 1912 issue of the New York Times speaks of giants. Their heights ranged between 7.6 feet and 10 feet and their skulls, presumably those of men, are much larger than the heads of any race which inhabit America today. They tend to have a double row of teeth, 6 fingers, 6 toes, and like humans came in different races. The teeth in the front of the jaw are regular molars. Heads usually found are elongated, believed due to longer than normal lifespan. Read more here about it. If we take a peek at Aztec mythology, we will find that it was believed how the Quinamtsan giants populated our world during the previous era of the Sun Reign, and it is said that the Quinamtsan giants built the ancient citadel of Teotihuacan. That is one big footprint, don't you agree? A giant footprint in China? Near the village of Ping'an in China, a group of adventurers came across what seems to be a massive footprint embedded in stone. Having a length of 57 centimeters, and a width of 20 centimeters, this massive footprint leaves little to the imagination. But that's just one of the many footprints that were allegedly found on Earth. Michael Tellen reported exploring another massive footprint in South Africa. The stone where the footprint was embedded supposedly dates back a staggering 200 million years. Known by locals as the Footprint of God, Tellen describes the 1.2 meter long footprint as a sensational discovery and believes it dates back to 200 million years. The Norimitsu Odaki, a 3. This mighty sword known as the Norimitsu Odaki was formed as one piece and is 3.77 meters long, and has a weight of 14. This excellent piece of weaponry is believed to have been crafted during the 15th century. However, while this sword is truly massive and looks as if it was forged for a giant to hold, the truth is that its owner wasn't a giant and it wasn't meant for one either. The Norimitsu Odaki is a ceremonial sword. In the distant past, a sword like this made a clear statement. It showed off that its owner had incredible resources and that it was created by a skillful craftsman, because only a skilled one could produce a weapon like this. However, it is interesting to think about why people wanted to have in their possession such massive weapons. If we take a look at ancient Japanese mythology, we will find descriptions of the Una, a kind of supernatural ogre which is depicted as a hideous creature, with sharp claws, 2 long horns protruding from its head, while having humanoid characteristics. A 2-headed giant from Patagonia. Meet Captway, a mysterious 3.5 meter tall 2-headed giant, that according to reports, was captured by Spanish sailors in the 1600s. The story of Captway can be traced back to around 1673 when the giant was captured by Spanish sailors, where he remained captive until he was killed while trying to escape from his captivators, as the Spaniards killed him with a pike through the chest. Eventually, the story faded away until the mummified remains of Captway somehow got to the UK. In 1914, after being passed from one showman to another, the mummified remains of Captway ended up at Weston's Burnbeck Pier. There, his remains spent some 45 years on display until Lord Thomas Howard purchased the remains in 1959. Captway continued to amaze people and somehow ended up in Baltimore MD, in a strange collection at Bob's Sideshow at the Antique Man Limited in Baltimore, owned by Robert Gerber and his wife. Sadly, other than myths, legend, and stories, there is little we have about giants. All the evidence anyone has been able to gather are basically historical documents, newspaper photographs, and personal testimonies.